Morning folks, I'm Dave Canterbury with the Pathfinder School. What I wanted to talk about today a little bit was tool maintenance and the items that you should carry for your cutting tool maintenance. I did a video called the 5 tool rule, and basically that video was a prelude or a sneak peek to something that I call 5x5 survival. And I did a seminar on this in Indianapolis over the weekend. But there are several groupings of 5 items. There are 5 main survival priorities, and then several groups of 5 things that are very easy to remember and understand that will help affect your survivability both short and long term. So I talked about this 5 tool rule in a video, and we were talking about 5 metal cutting tools. And I was very specific in that video in saying that this does not include the items to maintain these tools. But still yet, I got question after question of why no sharpening stone, why no file, why this, why that? Because we weren't talking about maintaining the tools, we were talking about the 5 tools. Now what I want to do is I want to shoot a video real quick about the tools that you should carry to maintain those cutting tools. And there are 5 items I believe are important in the long term to carry. In the short term, not so much. This small box has everything that I need in it for maintenance and repair of equipment and gear for a shorter term kit. Up to a couple, 3 weeks if I were planning a hunting trip or something like that, I could throw this in my pack. And there are plenty of tools in here and objects to repair and maintain my tools. And we'll look at that in just a minute. But let's talk about the 5 tools that I think you should carry as a mainstay in a larger kit or a longer term kit first. So, obviously you need some type of sharpening stone, and a multi-grit stone that you can use with water is going to be the best. I don't want to use oil on my stones if I can help it, even though I'm going to use animal fats and oils on my tools to maintain them and keep them from rusting. When I'm sharpening, I want to use water, and I'll wipe that oil off as best I can before sharpening. It's easier to wash the grit and things out of these stones if you're using water and not oils. So this is just a multi-grit 6-inch stone. And I just keep it in a bag, just like this in my kit. The second tool is some type of carborundum tool, and that could be a puck or a propeller. It's an implement used for sharpening gardening type tools. So it's very good for sharpening your axe. It's also very good for sharpening machetes and things like that. But you could also use it on your knife if needs be, or other sharp cutting tools. The edge of a shovel, the edge of a hoe. Anything that you are using longer term as a cutting tool, a scythe. All of those things could be used and sharpened with this propeller type tool. The next one would be some type of a ceramic rod, and this will give you the final sharpening. It's not a strop, but you should be wearing a strap on your hip because you should be wearing a leather belt, which becomes your strap. This just gives you that fine edge and knocks all of those microscopic rollovers and things like that off your edge and gives you very keen and sharp edges on your knife. Very, very good to have around if you're doing a lot of skinning of animals and things like that, because it's a very sharp way to tune your knife back up while you're in the middle of skinning an animal, or butchering for that matter. The next tool would be a 4-way file, and this thing has 4 different applications, which is why I like it. It's only 6 inches long, it doesn't take up a lot of room or weight, but it has a heavy rasp, a medium rasp, a fine mill type file that cuts in both directions, and a medium file that's curved. So you have several different tools you can use for not only sharpening tasks, but also for sanding and honing tasks on things like wood, replacement handles, and things of that nature that will help you with your tools as far as tool maintenance goes. The last thing that I have is a small tin, about 3 ounces probably, or maybe 4, that contains almost an entire cake of fixing wax. And I keep this on me all the time so that I can use it to wipe down the edges of my tools and things after I sharpen them to keep them from rusting. I also use it on my handles to keep them nice and oiled up so that they stay nice and don't get dried out. And then I can also use this for other things like waxing threads for maintenance and repair of my gear if I have to sew something up. And it also can be used as a lip balm and things of that nature. So it's a very multi-purpose item that I carry in my kit for tool maintenance. Again, all of these items directly relate to tool maintenance, but they can be used in other ways as well. Okay, so let's open this smaller kit. Now understand that this kit's going to have a few other little tidbits in it besides what we talked about, but the contents are going to be similar. So I just have a small tin here with a Ranger band around it. I have a couple of big diaper type pins in here that I can use for blanket pins and things of that nature. I have some smaller diameter bank line in here I can use for quick sewing tasks. A diamond rod instead of the ceramic rod. A small stone. A fish hook sharpener. A cut off mill file, two-sided, and then a couple larger sail needles as well. And that gives me a pretty well balanced, easy, short-term type kit just to do the things that I need to do on a shorter term basis. And then I would go with these larger type sharpening implements and maintenance tools for the longer term. I just about always carry fix and wax with me in some way, shape, or form within my kit. So I've almost always got this, even if it's not in the tin, could just be wrapped up in paper inside another piece of my kit. Well guys, I appreciate you joining me out here today for this short video on 5 items that you can carry in your kit to affect your tool maintenance. And they can be smaller items in a smaller type kit for the shorter term, or they can be larger items for the longer term, depending on how you're carrying your kit, your length of stay, and things of that nature. All of these things will be covered in more detail in my new book, Advanced Bushcraft, coming out in June of 2015. But these rules of 5 and this 5x5 survival is going to play heavy into this next book, and I'm going to introduce these concepts to you a little at a time. We started with the 5 tool rule, or the 5 critical tools as I call it, and we're going to talk about 5 tools that we can use for maintenance. Then we're going to talk about 5 wooden implement tools that you can make readily on the fly that will have the most direct effect on your comfort, convenience, and total all-around survivability in future videos. I'm Dave Canterbury at the Pathfinder School. I thank you for everything you do for our school, for our family, for our business. I appreciate everything that you do for my sponsors, affiliates, instructors, and friends, and I'll be back with another video as soon as I can. Thanks, guys.